My whole life I've given to others, and I've given little to myself, and to know that there was a place out here that gave back to you to where you didn't have to focus on anything was huge for me. I almost couldn't believe it at first. My name is Sara Rocco. I am currently a flight paramedic, and I also work in the emergency department as a paramedic. I've spent the last 10 years of my life working in EMS. Before the battle within, about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with PTSD. Unaware of it, I didn't know how to handle it. I was seeking help. I thought that I kind of lost hope with thinking that anybody would understand what I was going through. Not many people talk about what they deal with in this career, and then the stress and the triggers that you take on. It was hard hearing that I had this at such a young age, but thinking back to it, I have been so involved in my career, working in different areas. I left for COVID to New York City on a deployment to help with those patients, and I think it made sense. I've seen like the worst you could see. I've seen so much in my life where when I was diagnosed, it was kind of like, well, this makes sense. I was hopeful as well because it kind of put an answer to the things I was going through and an answer to how I can start treatment and focusing on like how I can become a better human living with PTSD. Yeah, the whole week I was here, I just felt like everybody was focused on me. And it kind of gave me some anxiety because I'm just so used to having to jump at people when there's problems or situations, kind of that flight or fight response of reacting. While I was here, it was the first week of my life that I felt for such a long time. I was able to actually focus on myself, and there was nothing I had to worry about. There was nothing external that I needed to worry about. It was a very different feeling. Going home after the battle within has been probably the best I've ever felt in my life. I established resources here, coping techniques, mechanisms to use to kind of help me through my stress, my day-to-day stress, and understand things at work, de-escalating myself. These weren't tools I had prior, and I think this is the first I haven't felt depression or anxiety like I felt before I left. Everything we did here throughout the week gave me a way to think about what I was dealing with. I think they were able to relate to exactly what I was doing. For example, the leap of faith, I believe it was called. The leap of faith was huge to me. I think it helped me overcome a lot of emotions that I can get over this, I can live, I can survive, I can deal with this trauma, and I can deal with it in a healthy way. There was a lot of people that came here and we did lectures with, and everything that they did spoke to me in a way. I would want others to know that there is a great program here that exists, and they actually do understand what we're going through. To know that there's veterans and first responders here, I think is the biggest thing I want people to understand, that you may not understand what you're going through, you may not understand your anger, your disconnect from the world, but the moment you walk through these doors, it's all gonna make sense, and you just have to trust the process and trust that there's people here that are gonna give you a week where you can finally unpack who you wanna be and who you need to be and deal with all those demons that you've been fighting with for so long. And there's hope at the end.